All right, guys. Game 2 here on Complexity Cast. tdM taking on One Trick Pony. As you can see on your screen right there, Trademark eSports finds themselves up 1-0 in this series. And I got a special request here from Captain MyNuts to give a shout out to Trademark and all their Facebooks. You can check them out over at facebook.com/tdM MyNuts, as well as tdm.insania, tdm.limp, tdm.zi. You can see them right here on the screen. So make sure to check them out and go give those guys some love, guys. And we'll have our own Complexity players featured here on the info section of the Complexity Scrims, or Complexity Cast HoN. So Complexity HoN Twitch. That was a lot of words. But guys, that's irrelevant right now. We've got game 2 here. Can One Trick Pony bring it back, or will they be going down into the losers bracket? We'll have to see. They looked very strong over Lions, which is of course a very strong team, but tdM just looks on another level right now. But we've got this game on our hands. Blind bans coming out. Engineer and Flux being banned by tdM. So Engineer was actually being used last game by Architiger on One Trick Pony. That's now being banned by Legion, a blind ban even. So they really don't want Engineer being used. So very interesting to see what happens there. And of course, Flux being banned by tdM, showing that they were very comfortable using that hero. And so we've gone from seeing Flux for the first time in a long time, if ever, in 3 straight games, to a blind ban on Flux within the span of like 2 hours. Crazy. Anyway, Wild Soul and Keeper of the Forest, same bans coming out from One Trick Pony. They do not want those 2 very strong suiciding heroes making their way into this game. Lockpicks coming out now. First lock is in fact Ophelia being locked by MyNuts, so he wants to be able to get his hands on that aggressive ganker pusher once again. On the other side, we have Wretched Hag and Bombardier being locked up by One Trick Pony. Now, Bomb is a hero that we do not see very often. Every once in a while we'll get to see him, and he is a very strong laner with the presence of his Sticky Bomb and his Boom Dust, and of course the global presence from his ultimate. The Airstrike is very, very useful, and even the Bombardment, the slow applied as well as the damage, it can be very useful in the middle of team fights and ganks. So overall a nice hero, but he doesn't really have that instantaneous damage that you need. He doesn't have an escape mechanism or any kind of an initiation mechanism that a lot of teams are looking for in these ganker type heroes. So we don't see him too often. Tempest, Parasite, and Fade make it through. Tempest, you know, talk about it every single game. Super strong hero. That ultimate, very, very strong. Great farmer. Probably the fastest jungle farmer, maybe with the exception of Legionnaire. And of course an extremely strong pusher starting at level 5, level 6, able to just knock those towers down. Parasite and Fade actually both make it through here. You would not see that if this was a Complexity game, as B-Kid favors banning those 2 heroes more than almost anything else. Parasite and Fade, of course, both extremely strong gankers. And Fade, of course, with that map presence that she has, able to gank anyone, anywhere. All right. But we got more stuff to talk about. Bans coming out for tdM. Pebbles, Tundra, and Draconis. Not a whole lot to talk about there. Those are the same bans they had last time. Silhouette, Meraxis, and Plague Rider on the other side. Silhouette being played by Noob G last game was, of course, a big thorn in One Trick Pony's side. And Plague Rider being played by Zai did a very good job suiciding as well, so they don't want to have to deal with that once again. First pick comes out, and it is Demented Shaman. The bird made it through the banning phase, and so the first pick that they had was Demented Shaman. Immediately countered on the other side was Nymphora Magnus, a very, very strong middle type lineup with that global presence of Nymphora's ultimate, able to get strong ganks off. But on the other side, Zephyr Bubbles being picked up by tdM. So they secured that Demented Shaman, made sure the other team wasn't able to get the Demented Shaman, and then picked up that Zephyr. And Zephyr Demented Shaman is what killed Complexity in the HoN Tour qualifiers 3rd, 4th place match. And that right there is a scary, scary team. Along with that, Bubbles, of course, a fantastic suicider. Something that Zai or Limp can both play very well. And a hero that just has great initiation, counter initiation potential, a great ganker. And on the other side, One Trick Pony finishes up with Master of Arms. So here that we've seen in multiple capacities. He can be played by a support or somebody like Noobs G being played by or tdM's Noob G. He plays him as a carry. We've seen 500 GPM Master of Arms that gets crazy farmed and scary. So we'll see how One Trick Pony chooses to run that one. With that Nymphora already there, I doubt that they're going to be running him as a carry, but we shall see. On the other side, though, we do in fact have Fade Ophelia going to be coming out for tdM, and that is a very strong lineup. Like, looking at tdM's team right now, it's scary how good that lineup is. Ophelia, you got the ganking and the pushing presence, and Fade, just one of the best gankers, map controllers in the game. So I like that quite a bit. I'm going to change the screen preemptively. Check that out, guys. You got that one down. On the other side, though, finishing it out, it was in fact Wretched Hag and Bombardier. So One Trick Pony going with the Bombardier. After all, it's going to be played by Zibby, the player that did run Magnus last game. I like that one quite a bit. He played a very strong Magnus last game, and we haven't seen him selling his items right there. So perhaps they did a little bit of a change up in their lanes. It looks like, now let me take a look at this again. They're going to be running an offensive tri-lane. This is something that Domain of Pain was running a little bit earlier, but Magnus, Nymphora, Master of Arms. This is 3 very strong stuns. You've got the point stun from Master of Arms as well as the line stun here from Magnus and Nymphora. And this could be a very strong lane if they execute this properly. And if they're going to be running a solo Fade down here, no, there's no way they're running a solo. What? They're running a solo Fade down here. So Fade's going to get literally 0, like nothing. Unless they push this tower down, they should be able to perhaps like run the tower down, deny it back, and then just leave one person down here, the farmer, whether that's going to be Magnus or Master of Arms, and Fade should just be kind of screwed. It's really strange seeing Noob G down here in this short lane solo on a Fade. Something extremely odd. So anyway, Bombardier going to be going up middle against Demented Shaman Zephyr. Now that's going to be a hard lane for Bombardier as well. We talked about no really like point stun, not able to just drop a stun or a slow immediately that's going to be able to get somebody off you. No escape mechanism. There could be a very hard time here for Bombardier, although Master of Arms is actually rotated. The Courier was doing a little bit of scouting here, and so Master of Arms is now in the middle lane. And now with Nymphora Magnus down here against his Fade, Fade's still not going to have a good time, but he's not going to get nothing now. So I like the rotation here from One Trick Pony. And I'm sure tdM Noob G appreciates that, as well as Fade's, of course, going to get harassed, but not a big deal. Suicide Bubbles being played by Zai, going to match up against Sequence Short Lane Hag. Sequence played the Suicide Bubbles last game, so playing the short lane this time. Obviously a player that is very comfortable in those solo roles. So this is going to be an interesting lane here in the middle. Bombardier and Master of Arms could both certainly use farm. I think Bombardier needs the farm a little bit more than Master of Arms, so I would think that the farm's going to go predominantly to Bombardier. But let's take a look here. Bomb sitting at 1 and 0, Master of Arms sitting at 1 and 1, so neither of them really getting the farm just yet, but we'll take a look back there in a couple of minutes. Now, Fade is actually doing relatively well down here, able to effectively farm off that tower, as all good, strong Rising players are, and making sure to get as many last hits as he can while taking advantage of the low levels of his opponent. Once this Nymphora and Magnus start hitting levels, say 3, 5, then it's going to be huge amounts of trouble for Fade. Hopefully Fade will be 6 by then and be able to use the ultimate, at least by the time they hit 5. But if he's not level 6 by the time they hit level 5, that Magnus stun gets such nice range. I believe it's 600 range at that point, and that would be very useful. Sticky Bomb going to go out onto Zephyr right there, and the charged shot, Forked Lightning, excuse me, going to be coming out right there onto Zephyr as well. So doing a little bit of damage, but with a couple of those tornadoes being consumed, he'll be able to get himself back up to full. Not even choosing to do that for the time being. Up in the top lane, Sequence putting out a lot of pressure onto Bubbles, who's going to have to fall back and eat some trees. Hag going to be eating some trees of her own. Both these players happy with doing that, and both do have their Ring of the Teachers finished up already, so very much so a common, almost essential item in these long and short lanes. Master of Arms picked up the 2-minute rune here mid. A double damage, going to be very useful. Zephyr gets another sticky bomb to the face on his head right there, and he's going to fall back. That blows on up. That's a level 2 sticky bomb, so it does a pretty significant amount of damage. If we take a look here, that's a lot of numbers. I'm going to say it's about 300 damage. That sounds about right. Sounds about right there. And so with the Zephyr, just kind of having not a whole lot of life. I mean, 549, he is an edgy hero. Even though we think about him as just a strong, tanky hero, he's tanky because he's able to get the items. Actually, mid lane, Bombardier in a little bit of trouble right there. She does land the counter sticky bomb once again, and so able to get himself on out of there. But there's just like that. I was looking at the other screen for 3 seconds, and Magnus might actually land up a stun here on the Fade, but no. Fade has such a strong counter stun in that Burning Shadows that she really does seem to fit this short lane solo role a little bit better than I would have thought. If we take a look, Fade is actually the top farmer in the game. So I don't understand how Noob G does it. Up in the top lane, Sequence trying to make something happen here with the Hag. There's a lot of creeps though, and Hag's actually able to blink on out of there. Bubbles is going to try to chase her down. Has another shell surf in quite some time actually, but Bubbles and Hag trying to play Ring Around the Rosie right here. Bubbles is going to spot him out, so it's going to be about who can get the auto attacks in right here. Hag does have the blink available and does use that Flash of Darkness. Will Bubbles go for it? He goes for it, and yes, he gets the Bloodlust right there. Levels up, even grabbing the experience. Zai in the suicide position gets that one. Illusion's coming in right here as Master of Arms is in some trouble. The bomb goes off, and both players go down. So Bombardier and Zephyr, the only two left standing for the time being. And Zui actually gets the kill first, so that is in fact Master of Arms. So tdM gets a little bit better engagement there. Although Limp staying alive, getting that experience solo, certainly going to be useful as that propels him to level 4. Going to be close to level 5 as well now. Boomdust level 2 on this Bombardier, so opting out of Bombardment for now. Says, hey, that's slow. It's not very good. Not for me for the time being. And Noob G down here just continuing. Actually, a Lava Surge coming out right there. The Zeal Stun going to fall up immediately after. The Burning Shadow is going to come onto this Nymphora as well. And doesn't have enough mana for any kind of Reflection and Cole's follow-up. But now he does get the Reflection off right there with the use of that power supply. Manages to get on out of there. And I think Fade's probably going to have to go to town. He's going to make his way down toward the jungle for the time being. But he's going to have to go to town. Using that Reflection to get a little bit extra damage on that Vagabond later, but on his way to the well he goes, and this will give Magnus some needed farm down here, who is standing at 255 GPM, slightly behind Bubbles, whose GPM is a little bit inflated. Demented Shaman in a little bit of trouble again, but so is Master of Arms as the dive is going on right here. Limp gets the last auto attack, and once again, Master of Arms and Demented Shaman both fall there, trading kills. However, Limp gets the kill this time. And that's a definite win for tdM in that lane. Although Bombardier now the top farmer in the game at 274 GPM. We'll see what he chooses to build. Ophelia picks up the Invis rune here bottom though. Bomb wanted to get that one bottled up, but no dice. Demented Shaman makes his way back over here once again. And Sanya with 2 deaths right now, and he's comfortable giving up his life to get kills for his Zephyr, but I sure as hell will let you know that he probably would prefer not to die. The Gust comes in right there, as well as the level 2 Entangle. The Typhoon as well, and auto attacks finish him off. Limp picks up his second kill of the game. And Bombardier, I can tell you right now, he is no longer the top in the game. Top lane, Zai teams up with Fade, being played by Noob G, to actually bring home a kill on Zibby once again. And they're going to be going for a dive over here. The Gust does, in fact, miss on that Master of Arms. The Entangle might be all that they need, though. TP going to be coming in from Bombardier, and Bombardier wants to maybe turn this around. No, he's instead just going to make sure to get all of these last hits. Tries to get this Ballista, but he's not going to be able to. That stupid tower screwed it all up. Magnus is happy to get his free farm down here, though. Getting farm on your initiating heroes, on your strength initiators, is very, very important in this early phase. And so this Magnus being left to free farm down here, going with the Ghost Marchers this time, of course, being played by Fuzzy this time, who played Dark Lady last game. Top lane, the Burning Shadows as well as the Reflection come out, and Hag goes down again. Sequence is not having a good time. 0-3 and 0, 145 GPM as the short lane. The airstrike comes out, catches Limp right there, and that's what One Trick Pony needed. Taking out that carry, able to get that one, and might even set themselves up for a little bit of push here. Demented Shaman is up here, does bottle up that double damage rune. Noob G on the Fade, retreating to town for the time being, does have Ghost Marchers, so going to be able to get in and out of those fights a little bit easier. Something that we don't see maybe all the time on Fade. Sometimes you see those Striders, of course, coming out. Minut's here in the jungle, getting pretty low on his minions. He might need to use his Ophelia's gift here in a moment. I would expect that he will. He's actually doing a nice job of microing his units back and forth, but choosing not to use the Ophelia's gift, instead going to send those units to town, it appears. So, all right. Limp in this bottom lane now, going to be tagging up against this Fuzzy Magmus. I don't remember if I actually completed my statement about the Fade. Actually, a Lava Surge comes out right there. The Zeal Stun going to hit as well, and Magmus is trying to get the auto attacks off. Not quite able to. The turnaround now. Wretched Hag is here. He wants to make something happen to Demented Shaman, but first, Magnus is going to fall. Double damage, Demented Shaman. Putting in auto attacks. The Kelp Field is broken right there. A nice Zeal Stun. The Bat Blast turnaround sequence is going to fall for the 4th time, though. Charge Shot comes out. A nice heal on to Zai. 2 more auto attacks is what it's going to take, but they're not going to get them for the time being. The Zephyr Typhoon comes in, as well as the Shell Surf, but they're not going to be able to finish it off on the Master of Arms. Unless Master stops to turn around, no. Zui's going to be able to keep on running out of there, and now tdM is going to set their sights on this bottom tower. tdM looking in extremely good form right now, up to a 5,000 experience lead and a 4,400 gold lead. One Trick Pony, I mean, they're looking pretty rough. Fuzzy's channeling up his ultimate right now and lands a Lava Surge, and down goes Limp right there. Bombardier in a little bit of trouble. The nice Zeal Stun coming out on 2, but Noob G picks up the kill onto that Bombardier. So no airstrike going to be coming out yet. He's got 12 seconds left on it, but 25 seconds on that res timer. So not going to happen. The tower goes down in favor of the Legion. So tdM extends that gold lead all the way up to 6,000 now. Fuzzy gets the kill on the Limp, who's now died twice. The Burning Shadow is going to be coming in right there, but a nice job disjointing that with the invulnerability afforded to him by the Lava Surge. He's going to go ahead and come back in right now. The Charge Shot's going to come in. Slows down a couple of those creeps, but not a whole lot to talk about right there. As the creeps moving at maximum speed, well, maximum creep speed, are walking away. Zai starting up a little bit of a push here as he activates the Ring of the Teacher. Shell Surf for the next creep wave, I would assume. Shell Surf! Not going to be using that song. Oh, he is going to use the Song of the Sea. It's a little bit interesting. Sometimes you don't see players use that because it is a 20-second cooldown. Yeah, he's going to use it anyway, though. I should have caught that, whether Zai took cover on the bomb or not. I saw his name flash up there, so I have to assume he did not get the take cover off. Master of Arms, of course, was not getting the farm there in that middle lane. Nymphora and Master, both of them sitting without red boots at this point. The rough life of a support, 98 and 65 GPM. Bubbles takes a charge shot right there, as he does have an illusion rune bottled up. Not activating that just yet, but I mean, if you look at the other side, Insania on this Demented Shaman with Ghost Marchers, as well as doing all of his ward stuff for One Trick Pony. Not so lucky, both their supports just sitting with a minor totem and consumables. Demented Shaman, how is he so rich? Actually, Magma's taking some fire down here, as looks like Minuts and Limp were both able to team up on him, bring home that kill. Minotaurs and a Skeleton King. Oh, man, I'm missing these kills left, right. As Bubbles came in right there, used the Shell Surf, Song of the Sea, as well as the Entangling Root from Demented Shaman. The Kelp Field now being popped out. The Entangling Root going to be applied once again. The Shell Surf cleans up that kill, and Insania actually gets credit for that one. They're going to be taking down this middle tower as well, so tdM just, they're running on all cylinders right now and looking like they want to clean this one up very quickly. Ophelia and Zephyr turn their attention toward this bottom lane, and Fuzzy might want to try to set up another ultimate right here, as Zephyr's kind of pushing up a little bit. And yeah, Mag is actually going to come in there with the Lava Surge. He does try to get some damage done to that Zephyr, but Zephyr backs off, just receiving that beast heart. And 4 actually comes in from behind right there with a nice Zeal. The airstrike was too late, though, a little bit miscoordinated. Demented Shaman going to be going down, though. The Typhoon turns around onto Magmus right there, steam bathing and then coming back out immediately. The Charge Strike comes in, the Gust as well, but the Gust not going to be enough now. The Ophelia minions are in a little bit of trouble as the Zeal Stun hits both those Minotaurs. One more Lava Surge and some auto attacks would be enough, but no, holds on to the Lava Surge. Up in the top lane, though, tdM going to try to take down this tower and make it their 4th of the game, as this one's going to go down. Will it go in favor of Noob G? Noob G, and he gets it. Noob G propels his farm up to 312 GPM right now. Looking pretty strong for a short lane solo fade against Magnus Nymphora. With those Ghost Marches and 1,600 gold saved up, I would assume saving for a portal key. An item with great initiation potential for this fade, and one that most players seem to like quite a bit. Speaking of portal keys, Magnus is sitting at 1,600 gold as well, looking for his own portal key. Once he gets that, might be able to set up some nice Eruption and Lava Surge combinations. If he hits level 11 in somewhat of a timely fashion here, that could be very, very useful, and one of the only things that could really get One Trick Pony back into this game was be hitting multiple players with that Lava Surge and Eruption combination. On the other side, MyNuts does have those Plated Greaves finished as well as an Astrolabe now, so that's going to be very useful. Hag taking a little bit of damage right there. Just kidding. That was a lot of damage as Sequence actually drops right there. Magmus being TP'd in by Nymphora, gets the Lava Surge and the Zeal Stun as well. The Kelp Field going to be coming out right there. The Defensive Master's Call being applied. Burning Shadows comes in, and Noobji wants to be able to get the last auto attacks, but not able to. Lava Surge comes in once again, and Bubbles in a little bit of trouble as he tries to turn it around with a Song of the Sea, but not quite able to. Magmus is able to bring that one home. Actually, Zooey takes the credit for the kill on Master of Arms, and so a couple of nice kills there for One Trick Pony. They grab Insania as well as Bubbles, and they paid for it, of course, with a couple of players. They did, in fact, lose their Nymphora as well as their Hag, so not a great trade, but, you know, any trade probably a good trade at this point. I don't know. 11,600 gold lead as well as an 8,000 experience lead here for the Legion team. One Trick Pony, they're doing their best, trying to take advantage of the ganking mobile team that they have. We've seen that Nymphora utilizing that teleport a couple times to get nice flanking Zeal Stuns off. But really, this Zephyr, this Fade, the Demented Shaman, I mean, they're all so farmed at this point. It's hard to get the correct kills off. Demented Shaman now finishing up that Power Supply. Power Supply, Mystic Vestments, Phase Boots, as well as doing wards. Actually, that might not save him, as in comes the Lava Surge right there. The Healing Wave going to be going off as well. The Offensive Master's Call now going to come out. The Entangling Root going to go down as well. But it looks like the Gust is actually going to save Insania for the time being, putting out that Storm Cloud. And now the Bat Blast hits 2 players right there, but will it be enough? Demented Shaman going to team up right there to get the kill onto that Master of Arms. Now, Magmus might be in a little bit of trouble as the Gust comes in, finishes him off. Limp grabs his 4th hero kill of the game. Shell Surf going to come out and try to get the push going, as they've already taken this tower and now might be looking to make a push for the racks, or possibly to rotate here middle. But One Trick Pony, I mean, everything that they do seems to be parried perfectly by Trademark eSports, who with every waking minute, every passing moment of this game, they're getting closer and closer to making their way toward the 3rd round here, and just keeping this lead going, keeping the momentum going that they've had for the past 2 weeks now, looking super, super strong. 14,000 gold lead here at 16 minutes into the game. That is absolutely absurd, to be honest. Hellflower parts are already being worked on here by Bubbles, who does have that 1 Arcana. Now, Bubbles might be pushing up a little bit too far here. Master of Arms is trying to get the flank for the charge shot. And we'll see as these players move in. The Offensive Master's Call comes in, and there's the charge shot as well. And the airstrike going to come in, but Bubbles has just too tanky. He wants to get to that haste rune, and he will bottle up that haste rune. Gets that one going. The bomb even missing right there as well. Now Bombardier's in a little bit of trouble. If the Kelp Field were to come out, no, the Shell Surf comes in, but Magnus showing off that portal key. They're going to get the kill onto Insania, the kelp field as well. And it looks like Master of Arms is in trouble right here. Ophelia wants to get that one. Noobg cleans that one up. The gust comes in from Zephyr right there. And now the Burning Shadows onto Nymphora. Limp gets that kill. And that's a genocide. GG well played come out. The vote to concede passes. And Trademark eSports defeats One Trick Pony 2-0 in very quick games there. Trademark eSports, they just looked so strong in those games. And One Trick Pony, I watched their games against Lions, who's a very formidable team in their own right, but they just did not look like the same team here. They say great teams make their opponents look bad, not even comparison, but force mistakes. And that's what it looked like tdM did here. They forced mistakes out of their opponents. They capitalized on those mistakes, and they just looked absolutely fantastic doing it. Let's get this one updated right here because tdM takes it home 2-0. Guys, that's it. That's it for me and HoN Tour for the day. I'm going to go ahead and look around, see if I can maybe find any games that were delayed cast. And that's the end of the scheduled matches for the day. I hope that you enjoyed it, guys. This has been Complexity Casting. Make sure to check Complexity Gaming out at complexitygaming.com, Facebook, Complexity Gaming, and Twitter at Complexity Live. Complexity Gaming is going to be running coverage for HoN Tour. You can check that over at complexitygaming.com. It's on the front page right now. We're going to be having an event portal constantly updated with how Complexity and the other teams are doing. I'm going to be writing weekly wrap-up articles, and it's also got your embedded streams for twitch.tv/complexityhon as well as HoNcast. So really, that's your source for HoN Tour coverage. Guys, if you enjoyed the cast here and you want to tune back in for some more, make sure to follow here on twitch.tv/complexityhon so that you know every time we go live. We do scrims Monday through Thursday. Do 3-4 hours of scrims each day. Watch as Complexity practices. They get ready for the matches, which come up every Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be doing HoN Tour coverage here. And in the week, during the nights, going to be doing some replay casts of HoN Tour games and maybe even live casting some of the Gold League matches because, I mean, some of the teams that are playing right now in the lower bracket, 4 of the teams in the lower bracket right now in Diamond are going down to Gold. They're going to be playing in Gold next cycle. So that Gold League is going to be stacked as well. So going to be doing some coverage for that. Guys, though, big shout-outs to everybody that made today happen. Of course, starting with S2 Games for putting HoN Tour together. A huge shout-out to the HoN Tour admins for making this actually happen. Of course, to Complexity Gaming, as well as the Complexity sponsors. We have Origin, PNY, Sound Blaster, and Creative. So big shout-out to those guys. And big shout-out to the teams that showed up today. Pencils, Complexity, Trademark eSports, and One Trick Pony. And of course, make sure to check out Trademark eSports. As MyNuts mentioned up there, it was facebook.com/tdm.mynuts, tdm.zy, tdm.insania. All their players have their Facebooks. But guys, we're out for now. I'm going to run a few commercials and shut down the stream. I'll let you know on Twitter. Follow me at BeefPotPie1 if we have any more casts coming up from tonight, games that might have been delayed. Otherwise, you can catch us here at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, starting with HoN Tour tomorrow. Once again, I've been your casting host, Beef. I'm out.